Okay, guys, we're back here. It's Friday, the 19th of April here, and we're going to finish up now. We've been doing this new format here where I pick one, you guys pick one, but this was, but there were a lot of votes for this. I think actually after everybody logged in here, this actually was the first choice. I was going to make this suggestion anyway, so it worked out just as well. There's a lot of interesting things happening here. This is, of course, right, just looking at that chart, one of the, and this is, so I'm a daily here, obviously I'm on Binance, so I've got a daily chart here, one of the strongest cryptos on the board, and it's just defying. Didn't have much of a crypto winner. It's just been an incredible run. I'm going all the way back here to 17. It's just remarkable. Now, they've had some news just recently here. So whenever, if you're looking at a coin, like you guys know, I like this site. Again, no relationship with them. I just like it here. So I like the way they organize the information. So you can see here they've got a strong buy here. It's not the highest rank here in their algo scoring. You can kind of read about what they're using here for all of this ranking here. But if there's news about, if you think about trading something, there's news in it here. You can always come over here. You can read about the news here. And this is the news that seems to have sparked it here. So you can come down here and read this. Binance coin surges 94% in 24 hours after DEX announcement. That'd be worth a read and maybe a little more digging here if that interests you. Of course, the technician looks at a chart and goes, well, all the known fundamentals that can be known at any moment in time are already reflected in that price. So it's just a question of whether you're interested in what's causing this kind of move. So looking at here on a daily, well, it's okay. So first one, pretty hard to miss. Right now, do note here that we do get this overlap here of the one. Just a slight overlap, just enough to where you'd have to call it a diagonal. Leading diagonal, so you'd be likely finishing this as an ABC. Right, this one a little tougher, but with that overlap, we got to call it a diagonal. So there it is. So I don't know that it matters really. So clearly this is our one. So just again, standard ops here. There's a one where we're looking for a two between the 50 and the 618. Where do we go? So we've got plenty of legs here. We get from the 50, just blows right through first target. Man, they are after second target. Of course, here with this, you can see, so of course you know what I'm going to do next. We're going to just grab from the low here. We get a corner pocket. So off of my lowest low here, up here. Okay, so you can see it as it hit it, we got a little reaction. So here's your corner pocket trade, right between the 50, right? So always the caveat, as long as these pivots hold, 80% probability of making the median line, we bang it there, right? And then all the way up to this upper parallel, and that's the 150 here, so it still has legs. But this is interesting framing here of the market as we push through it. So all very technical, very relatively straightforward Elliott count. Pull this off of here. So if that's 1, 1, 2, well, where are we here? So let's dig in. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C down. I got a 1, 2. Well, now we just straight rip up. We got to dig in there a little bit. So let's go. Let's see, 2 hours. We'll do it. Yeah, we can do it. Okay, so you look here, of course, as I will remind you guys, how we're trying to get the separation here. So I'm looking for retracements. Where are the retracements? Can I organize that to give me a subdivision here that would make sense? Well, I start right here because I've got to find my 1, 2. If this is the 2 and I've got that big rip into a 3, I got to find my impulse in here. Now, this is really close, but take a look here, what happens and how good this is. Okay, so if that's the 2, well, that sure looks like the 1, 2 here. Look how deep that 2 is. But if we go 1, 2, and you're looking for the third here, well, again, same thing I would always do, right? The length of the 1 projected from the 2. Let me tighten that up a little bit. A little sloppy on that click. Okay, so if that's the 1, that's the 2. Where's the high probability zone for our third? Right between the 1618, 175. Where do we go? So pretty easy, right? And then look at the reaction. So that's not a real, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to get that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Look here, here's the 2618, but it looks like that had more in it. So then you're thinking, okay, well, we got to wick off that 1. All right, 1, 2, 3, high probability zone down for the 4. Don't overlap the 1. How do we look from the 2? Here. How do we get from the 2 to the pivot of the 3? All right, so where are we looking for the 4? pull this off up. Right between the 23, 38, we got a couple of little double bottom here at the 38. There's our 4, lots of legs here, right? So right, but again, blowing right through. So it's a very strong market. So getting completely through that, there it looks like there's our 5. Now here we get it gets a little tricky. So what do we do with this? Well, you know, it's a little skinny on the sub. Even this correction, it's so. We saw something similar with Litecoin, where we have to allow for this very skinny, and I am on a 2-hour here, very skinny little diagonal in that C. So it's incredibly small relative to the A, but yet, you know, market doesn't give you perfect all the time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now here, because of the subdivision, I think we've got an expanded B wave here. So I like this as the completing the 5 relative to this 2 here. So there's the 3, 4. There's the 5 wave subdivision from the 2 to give me the 1 wave of the 3rd. Okay, right. Of course, at that moment in time here, you have no idea. You're thinking 1, 2. Oh, looks like my 3's in. Well, it turns out right now that we have all this additional data and price action, we know that's not the case. So here, because of this very clear ABC, I think we get an expanded flat here. Right, so we go, there's the 5 of the 1, A, B, C gives me my 2 here. Now we go up from there. So with that, 1, 2, 1, looks like we do the same thing again. Actually, looks like we get another expanded flat. Go up for the 3, 4, 5, and you've got a perfect little impulse to finish it. And if I recall, this is technical as well. So let's, as we're here, length of the 1 projected from the 2. All right, where's the high probability zone for our 3? Between the 1618, the 175. Where do we go? Right to it. All right, so there's the 3, looks like A, B, C, right? Again, so we're seeing in strong markets like this, again, it's very, very pervasive in 2017. These shallow 4s, truncated C waves here. We're seeing it all over the place. Truncated C wave, truncated C wave. Well, there's barely a C wave. Right, it's the impatience in the market. So we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then look at this beautiful impulse, and all the subdivision is there. Essentially, we get a double top. But that 2 is, if I go right, so we could pull through the pivot of the 1. Right, it's not a diagonal, but the 1, 2 is so skinny, I kind of check both of them. So I look there, well, there's the golden zone. So here, golden zone, but we don't make target until we get over here, right? So you wouldn't have stayed with that. So for whatever reason, they're denied there. So it doesn't hit target. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reaction. So I think I'm fairly comfortable with this as my 3 relative to this 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if that's my, so I get a little A, B, C into this. If this is my 2 here, correctly identified, right, well here, that's kind of deep for a 4, but we don't challenge the 1. We get the subdivision we need, and then coming off of it, we get another impulse. So it looks like it's got plenty of juice in it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, same approach, right? So where am I if I've got a 1? So I can get my little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to give me a 1, 2. Well, right, so we've had, I think, three in a row where the wave 3 has gone right to the 1618. So we put that on there. What do we, am I right on it? Get right on it. I thought it was to the tick. Pretty damn close. Okay, so here's our high probability zone for the 3, right? So you're looking there going, oh, why does it stop there? A reasonable case to be made that this is the 1, 2, 3. So we've got that. Right now we don't know. There could be more legs there, but that's a reasonable place to plot your 3, thinking, oh, 1, 2. Well, I went right to the 1618. Why would you think anything else? So we're going to pay attention to this where we are here. We'll wick off that 1. So where am I in the larger count? Well, I'm still trying to finish the 3rd. So 3, 4, 5. This would give it to me. This would give me the 5th up here. That would give me the 3rd relative. So let me go back to the 4-hour. Sort of put that all back together. All right, so where is that 3rd going to be? Okay, so shit, I got to really scrunch. Yeah, fuck, can I do it in the 4? Let me see. Nah, I can't. Damn it. Go back to the daily. No, take it. Let's do it in Let's do it in an 8 hour. Okay, so here I know this is my low. So from that, right, so then I don't have to go all the way back to the left side. I can just take that pivot. There's the 1. There's the 2. Right, here's 100%. So we've just gotten through the 1272. So it's not unreasonable, since we've seen this happen 4 times in a row, that we'd get our wave 3. I don't know why you would project anything else. That we'd get our wave 3 up here at the 1618. So we'd do the same thing, right? Is that going to be our wave 3 relative to this 1, 2, right? Certainly the subdivisions all supports the idea. We're in the 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to need that last little. We don't have the 4 yet, so it's hard to project because I don't have it yet. But it looks like that's not unreasonable to be giving us the larger 3, right? Off the, well, this is all our history. So put the whole thing together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if now I don't have it, of course, right? So if I'm just going to use this pivot, if just for a reasonable roadmap. Okay, so if I'm going to get my 3rd here at the 1618, we'll look where the 4 tees up, right at this prior congestion zone here before the little kick up. Right at the 38, I've got my wave 1 pivot there. So you've got some structure, some obvious structure there at play. Not that this 4 would be relative to this 1. That's relative to this 1. So sorry, excuse me, guys. So, right, that's not the most challenging count we've ever worked through. Surprised that, but I think just people, because of the bullish news and the reaction here, I think people curious as to where we are. But that. So in terms of a new trade, let's go down. Let's go to the 2 hour. I don't know that I'd be looking to get long just yet, right? So you're late to the party, right? On a long here. So I would need. I'm going to go down to the hourly. I would need some good looking subdivision here in the 4. So if this is 1, 2, it's a little skinny trying to get up here, right? There's the 1618. It's a little skinny on this. I'd be just kind of patiently kind of eyeballing it here, looking for something like that to get me that last kick. So if this is in, and we don't know that it is, but if it's in, and we start to pull back a little bit, okay, put it on sale for me. What else do I have over here? Well, I can look left, and I can see some structure here that might very well come in play, just using these 2 pivots. So would that be a reasonable spot to be looking for the 4? Well, sure. Right, we got very little support here. Now take note of that. So as I scrunch that up, okay, so of course I have this set to visible range, so it changes as I add more information to it. But really, I'm kind of just looking right here. So here's the big base, but here's my secondary base. So you can look here, you can see this across, right? If we look across here, you get the low volume node here where we don't have market acceptance. Kind of here, we don't really have it hasn't stayed up here because this was just a straight rip. There is no support. So can we build a base here to get a little bit more, so we get a little bit more market acceptance right here. All right, so we might get, let's see, I've never used that thing, but, where is that thing? Where you can kind of, if I can do it with this, can I do that? Shit, I don't really know how to, I'll have to experiment with that before I just randomly pull it in. Okay, so there, I'd want that subdivision to be solid before I just jump on that. 0, right now we're still ripping here, so there's no signs of any weakness here. But you're buying at the all-time high. It's kind of goes like rubs me the wrong way. It's very hard for me to do that. I don't want to pay, excuse me, God damn it, guys, I'm so sorry. I don't want to pay full retail up here. Put it on sale for me. Give me at least a 20% discount. Give me something off here rather than paying full retail up here. Give me a little bit of a retrace here that I could play with here, but anticipating if I were to get that, where am I in the count? All right, what am I completing? Oh, fuck, I gotta go back here. What am I completing? 1, 2, potentially I'm completing the 3. So the juicy one that we're after is the 4 to the 5. That's the big one. Right, so if we can get up here and get this, now if this is the 3, we're gonna need an extension in the 5 to get to the 1618. Take note of that. But let's see if that would even work. Let's see if we can get that much out of that. Now, granted, we don't know that that 3 is in, but just looking for extremes here. So if I can get, if this holds, if I can get this as my 1, I got a shallow 2. Well, here's the 2618 would be right up at that. So we get a little confluence there. So you're kind of, it looks like it could be shy here, but you never, of course, we never know. So here would be the 1618. So we get a little confluence up here where we have the larger degree 1618. On this degree, the 2618, we'd be looking for a kick here in the 5. And then we've got the second algo target right on top of the 618. So if this is going to get there, if we're going to get something along these, a little retrace here, and then we're going to kick up to this kind of level, well, it doesn't look too bad actually, right? So you are going to need strength here. Now we don't know. Again, I don't know that that 3 is in and done. But if this is going to come down here, this is a reasonable spot. So just looking there, that risk reward is going to be reasonable. So let's say we're a buyer here. We've got this. We're going to go after that second algo target. Well, we don't want to give this, I don't want to give this a shitload of room here in case we see some weakness over the weekend. Well, so we could see one of two things: either some Bitcoin strength, right? So we're spread against Bitcoin. I probably should have mentioned that. We're spread against Bitcoin here. So I don't know that I want to give it that much. That's only giving me 2.46 to 1. So you got to pick something. 4 to 1. 50 wouldn't be uncommon, right? So then it becomes a question of, well, you're going to trade the market, or you're just going to trade a predefined amount of risk that your trading plan allows for you to accommodate there to take that trade. What you want to be careful of is just being, comes down here and you're a buyer here, and you just ignoring the possibility that we could start to get weak here, right? A lot of people, no shortage of people that think that crypto is not done yet with crypto winter. So you got to be, I'm not saying that that's what I think. I'm just saying you got to be prepared for that. You don't want to let something where you were just trying to catch the 4 into the 5, and really the bigger trade is to wait for the big 4, right? That's the big one that you want. To trade this as a, that's a solid base hit, right? That's maybe you get a single or a double there, but you're not making a Lambo payment there. So, you don't want to give this an unnecessary amount of risk, because the whole thing could start coming down. So that you don't want to be a buyer up here at all-time high and then think, oh, well, I was going to trade it, but now I'm a long-term hodler. Why, right? Why? Just take the small loser, reevaluate. There's no reason to say, oh, I'm just going to buy it. Oh, stops are kind of annoying. I'm not going to, they never get filled anyway. Be careful of that. There's no reason to let that thing tie you up, right? So what's going to happen if you let that thing get away from you? Then you're tying up assets there. So if you're comfortable with that, or you got enough capital in your trading account, well, do whatever you think is the right thing for you. But I think as a trader, it's a mistake to let something a little, you're trying to get a base hit here and let that turn into a big drawdown. There's no reason for it. So be cautious here on this little play, because really you don't want to get stuck here before you get the big opportunity, right? Where you might want to go a little bit more aggressively. And to put that in perspective, right? It's getting back to, can we get the 4-5? That's the one that's worth waiting for right there. All right, so we need good subdivision here to give us this setup. I wouldn't be a buyer here, right? So I know it's bullish, right? So the news is bullish, the market's ripping, but where's your entry, right? You got to, well, I shouldn't say it that way. The more conservative approach would be to wait for a retracement of some type, so that we're not buying the all-time high. Wait for some retracement to come back to some structure that would be consistent with the Elliott count, that would produce a probability zone where you can kind of get comfortable with, like, okay, I think I have a feel for where we are in the count. If this count is going to be accurate, it shouldn't go beyond that. That's the kind of thing you're trying to set up here, but don't lose track of the bigger picture here. This is just a, base hit, right? You want to out of the park. Well, of course, if we finish all that, where does that put us? What are we finishing? Right, if we get all the way up here, what have we just done? Well, you guys know the answer to that, right? So all we're doing is completing a one wave of a larger degree. Right? That's a 1. Right, it's completed impulse, right? It's a big, sexy monster impulse, still just the 1 wave, still just a 1. So take this off, all right? So this is, what you got to be careful of. So If all that comes off, all this comes off. 3, 4, 5. Okay, what are we doing then? If, right now, nothing says this must happen, but if that is up here and we get that 5, right, what are we looking for? All right, you want to be around for that. Then you're getting, then now you're at a whole nother, no, that's a monster there, right? So if you get that to complete that 5 and we get a 50% retracement, all I'm doing is using the low here, and we come down, we get this zone, we get into this, oh fuck, where is it? We get into this zone right here, right? Look where that prior structure is here, right? Right. Again, I don't have this here, so I can't. This is just a, you know, a guesstimate, right? So a possible roadmap. So we're gonna, if we come down here, get this up here, boom, be there for that, right? Don't let this a little piddly little trader like this where you bought the all-time high. Don't be that guy, right? Who just lets the whole fucking thing just kind of come. No need to, right? It's I know nobody likes to take a loser. It's you want to survive, you take the loser. Don't let it get away from you. It's very, very easy to do. I've done it more times than I'd like to admit, more times than I'd like to remember. Don't take the small loser, right? Just, you can thank me later. Okay, guys, talk to you later.